Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and this is another discussion video. I feel like I haven't made one of these in a week, so I figured why not make one now. So we're going to go over the three most underrated archetypes or typings in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wanted to start off with Cybers, because Cybers has so many avenues to choose from, and all of them have the potential to be competitive. Agnister, of course, is the Towers beatdown deck. Code Talkers is a mega combo extra link deck. G Golem is a really cool new tool / extension we got for Cybers archetypes that came out in Crystal Revenge. Salamangrates, once we get Gazelle back to 3, can still be great in the meta, especially with Babushka Pass plus Heat Soul Control. Princess is a really powerful archetype since the Deep Sea support came out. And of course, Math Mech is actually being a top dog in a new format. Bestial Branded still keeping it down, but other than that, the deck is still doing well. So all these archetypes are kind of just insane. And I don't feel like there's enough to talk about how great Cybers is. Now, a lot of people don't like Link Era 4 or the fourth typing, Links. They think that it ruined Yu-Gi-Oh! But I had to disagree. This is when I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think every Link archetype they have introduced has been a home run. Like, no joke, I can't think of a bad Link archetype that doesn't help all Links in some certain way. And the cool part is they're all splashable. Like, you can play Agnister Math Mech. You can play the G Golem cards within all the archetypes. Princess is a really cool, I guess, the only outlier. Same thing with Salamangrates. Code Talkers could be played with Micro Code Talker in all these decks. It's a really, really cool mishmash of support. And that's only going to get more and more powerful once the new Cybers set comes out in a couple of months in May. And I really think Cybers have a chance to take the meta by storm. And people are just sleeping on these cards. Like, every one of these archetypes that you see before you have the potential for greatness, if not are already there, are just waiting for a good pilot and a good list to bring out into the meta. Especially with Tier Elements dead and the format still ever evolving, the format isn't defined yet. So there could be a chance that there's some Cybers deck that we just don't see yet that could shape the meta to a new format. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think any of these archetypes on their own are Tier 1. But I do think they're all hovering there. And they just need either one more wave of support or just a great pilot to test them out and a cool tech card. And these decks are good to go. I mean, Agnisters is making the towers as like 6,000 attack. If they don't play Goddess in the extra, they just lose. They have nothing to get around this thing. It's just gigantic for no reason, and you just win the game. Code Talkers, co-linking your entire board and giving your opponent a Corruptor Ibli is almost a death sentence. And Salad and Marin make cool control boards. And I'm going to start with Math Mech. And now we have Plants. Now, Plants are, again, probably the poster boy or the poster child of archetypes that are just like one wave of support needed left before they're like the best deck in all Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever. Plants are just there. All the Rika cards, all the Sylvan cards, all the Sun Avalon cards, and now we're getting the Trap Trick cards. Every plant archetype's pretty much broken out the wazoo, besides, I guess, Sylvan. No offense, Sylvan, you need some love. I know you just got the new Link 2 or Link 1, but it wasn't enough. We need some more support for Sylvans, the first excavation deck ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! But all these archetypes have the potential for greatness. The Furions add some great extension to Sun Avalon Rika. And not to mention, these archetypes are just really, really powerful. Like, Rika is literally just better layer darkness. And they're plants. That's literally it. The fact that the new Rika cards from Power the Elements can just tribute your opponent's monsters multiple times is kind of insane. And I think the only reason why people haven't really been testing with these cards more is just to the fact that the Rika cards never got really a reprint until literally next month once the new Maze of Memory set comes out. Because these cards have always been kind of expensive. But now that they're getting reprinted in Maze of Memory, hopefully the price drops and more people can start testing with plants And who knows? The bug stuff is also plant stuff, so I love that. Even Photon Hypernova, the bug support is plant support. So we can also just try those into these decks and see how it goes. The new synchros we got are pretty solid. And I can already see people labbing this out with punks and a whole bunch of other cool and interesting strategies. I really do think plants are one step away from bringing the most broken typing in all Yu-Gi-Oh! Because none of the cards really been hit. Yes, Dandelion's been hit, and other cards like that. But let's be real here. Spore is still at 3, even though it's a once per duel. Lone Fire is still at 3. There's so many like really powerful generic plant cards that are just at 3, and they're just kind of crazy. All of a sudden, Avalon cards are just kind of insane for just being a normal monster deck. Trap Trick, all their support they're getting in this new structure deck, which is coming out in like 2 days, is kind of insane for control archetypes as a whole. And then Rika, like I said, is just insane tribute fodder galore. I really do think plants have a chance to be there. We'll just have to find out and see. And finally, for our last deck that we must talk about, at least I say deck, but it's like multiple archetypes all in the same typing. That would have to be. And finally, we have bugs. Bugs, I feel like, are just insane and as a whole. I feel like bugs and plants and cybers all have the same issue where there's so much good support. How do you fit it all in a 40-card deck and make a conclusive strategy? That's really the big issue with bugs. There's so many like really, really powerful cards that have nothing to do with each other, but they mix so weirdly together. Like, for example, the crawler stuff are insane. Caller Soma just flipping 2 monsters as an extender is kind of stupid. And not to mention, their main boss monster, Ex Machina over here, is literally just a skill drain on legs. One-sided skill drain, might I add. Beat Troopers are still insane, and since they're a TCG exclusive, finally coming over to Japan, we're finally getting another wave of Beat Trooper support. So that's pretty awesome. And the Beat Trooper support is in the form of fusion monsters, which, funny enough, have to deal with equips, which Inzektor's whole gimmick is that they equip stuff to them, allowing you to access the new fusions. Because the new fusions just say, hey, tribute a monster with the fusion material, the contact fuse into the new ones. So there's some potential for Inzektor there. Not to mention all the Inzektor cards are non-once per turns. And then, of course, the ballpark archetype is kind of insane. We just got a new continuous spell that's actually pretty broken. I can't wait to go over in a later video, going over the bugs as a whole. But I really do think insects have the potential to literally warp the meta. Same thing with plants and same thing with cybers. I think all 3 of these archetypes are being looked down upon when they can literally just sweep an opponent without knowing. Because to be honest, a lot of people don't know what any of these cards do. A lot of people don't know, like they know Math Mech, they know Agnes, they know Salad, they maybe know Morences, but they don't know like what the G Golem cards do. They don't know what every Code Talker card does. They don't know what the new Firewall cards do. Same thing with plants. They know maybe Rika. They might know Sun Avalon. But do they know Sylvan? Do they know all the new Trap Trick stuff? I don't think so. And this is especially for bugs. Okay, maybe you know the Crawler cards. Maybe you know the Bead Trooper cards. But I don't think so. But do you know the Ballpark cards? The Inzektor cards? All the like random, generic, powerful insect support in general? I really think if you are going into a duel, these will take you by surprise. So overall, that's my idea of all these 3 typings. I really think Konami is on the right track of all of them. I just wish that they were somewhat meta, all 3 of these archetypes. But I think Konami will get there. They just need to put 1 or 2 more cards. And honestly, I feel like the buckets are going to spill over. And the potential is just going to be insurmountable how much these cards are going to do. But you can all tell me in the comments how you think about bugs, how you think about code talkers, or just cybers in general, and how you guys think about, of course, plants. And are you guys excited for the structure deck that's coming out? And, of course, Cyber Storm that's going to shape up the whole Cybers wave of support. Tell me in the comments. Tell me if you like these kind of videos. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.